Hello and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm Nate Pierce. I'm going to be your host this year. I'm sitting here with Luke Dean. This is the 49th season of Coach's Corner, and our first episode of the 2021 fall sports season. Coach's Corner started in 1972, and we're proud to continue Coach's Corner on WSLM for our listeners and to get to know our coaches, players, and staff from each of the schools and get to know the X and O's, ins and outs of the schools' football team programs from Eastern, Salem, and West Washington. Tonight we're going to have Luke Dean, head coach of Eastern, assistant coach Roger Pennington, and head coach Jeremy Lowery out of West Washington. Like I said, I'm Nate Pierce. I'm one of the new voices of the Salem football team, Salem varsity football team, joining you live here at Salem McDonald's. You're listening to us live on WSLM 97.9 and WSLM 1220 AM. We're also live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Be sure to follow us all season for a front row seat and a closer look at the high school football. So like I said, tonight we're starting off with Coach Luke Dean. He's head coach at Eastern. Luke, how's the team looking tonight or this year?
We're proud of our guys, what we got this year. We feel like we got a good squad. We've got juniors, seniors that have been through the ringer the last couple of years and forced to play varsity football when they were ready, and we got some good young talent in our sophomore and freshman classes. Our numbers are up, and things are looking great.
Yeah. Everybody healthy?
Yeah, we're healthy coming in, and we're excited to get going. We didn't get the scrimmage last week. Springs Valley contacted us late Wednesday and said they might not be able to play. And the Thursday they called us and said they weren't going to be able to do it. And, we tried to kind of find nothing that was going to work real quick and easy. And so we didn't get that scrimmage. So the kids are chomping at the bit to play. And, we're tired of practicing and we're ready to hit somebody else.
Good deal. The Springs Valley game, was that COVID related?
Yeah, they just had some kids quarantined. And I think, it was a lot of their older kids. And they just didn't feel comfortable, having the scrimmage. And, it's in one of those situations where as a coach you kind of question, is it good for us not to go in case something does happen? They do have a kid that's positive, that kind of thing. And, ultimately the games are what counts. And, we just turned our focus to week one and that's what we've been focused on.
Smart. So I wanted to touch on your involvement in the youth football. As a youth football coach myself, I know that develops those kids and encourages development for the kids coming up. And you've been very involved in the youth program for several years, and your team's looking really good. How do you feel that affects the kids as they get older?
I think it helps. They are comfortable with me, and the parents are comfortable with me, and I think it's helped our numbers. Going up through youth league all the way up to high school, and just understanding what we want, and what our expectations are, and what we want to do as schematic wise, defensively, offensively, and I think it helps. And my kids are that age, the youth league, and will be for a while, and so I plan on being part of that for a long time to come. And I think it's important to build your program from the bottom up, and that's kind of where we are right now with what we have in high school. These are groups that I had all through youth league, and it's kind of finally getting to that point, and you can tell a difference.
Yeah. Same thing with me. I've been a youth coach at Salem for 10 years now, and our seniors last year were some of the first kids that I ever coached, and our seniors this year, I've coached pretty much all of them in some capacity, whether it be football, wrestling, or whatever. And it really, watching them grow and develop and change, it's been something that really, it warms my heart to see these kids.
Yeah.
I got a senior in high school myself now, and whenever he joined the National Guard, and whenever he leaves, it's going to be a different scene for me at the football games. But so, what's the future look like for Eastern?
We feel like the future's bright. We got great numbers. We've got 19 freshmen. It's a class that we feel like it's got a lot of talent. They got a lot of size. Our sophomore group's a solid group, and our junior and senior classes have always been small. And that's part of the reason why we've struggled the last few years with numbers and just in the win column. But like I said, the juniors and seniors that survived the storm, they're seasoned, they're ready, and paired with the younger kids behind them, that's going to be key for us is developing that depth with those younger kids that are talented, but they need that experience and just understanding how quick the game plays and things work on Friday nights.
Yeah. You guys have got some pretty good size down there. I talked to Talon Smith on the sidelines there Sunday.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, we've got good size. Our line is, we feel like we're 7 deep. We could rotate actually 8 guys at any point on the offensive line and not miss a beat. 240, 245, and we got several kids around 300 pounds. But we got kids that can move and they're strong. They've been in the weight room. Something else that's been a change for us in the last few years. We've finally gotten that culture and that commitment to the weight room. We invested in a strength coach in the weight room, and just getting those kids in there year round and kids buying in. We went through a transition period this year where we hired a new person, and the kids were mad. They want to be in the weight room. They're questioning. Why are we not here? Why are we not doing this? And so that just shows me that they're committed and they bought in, and you can see on the field our speed's better, our power's better. It's going to pay off for us.
Nice. What can we expect Friday night?
I think it's going to be a good football game. I know West Washington lost a lot of seniors last year. They're a young team, so are we. It ought to be a fun night, and I know our kids are looking forward to it. And our seniors, they've been through a lot, and I know they're excited and they're ready to get playing.
Yeah, it's always fun with that county rivalry. All 3 of the teams kind of switch it up there. And it's interesting to get to see all of them play each other, especially since we've played each other since they were little kids.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The kids know each other. They know who they're playing. There's no secret there, and they're excited. And I know just from practicing that we're ready to go, and we can't wait for Friday.
Yeah. Who should we be watching for? Who's your standouts?
We've got some seniors that, like I said, have been through a lot. Dallas Derrick is one of our main dudes. As far as just running back, linebacker. Mason Walker is a junior. Same thing. Nathan Toysh is our returning starting quarterback. He's a senior. Up front, Mike Abney, starting lineman. He's a senior. He's going to be our stone, our building block up front. As far as we lean on him a lot. Matthew Johnson's another senior guard for us.
I know Matthew well.
Yeah. We got Anthony Harris, who's a kid who moved in from New Albany. He's another starting for us. Then we got Talon Smith, who's a junior. He's a big kid. Waylon Perez, the sophomore, is a big kid who started for us last year as a freshman. Then we got Miles Shepard, who's another kid that's a junior that's got a lot of experience last year. So we feel like we've got some pieces there up front. We've got Andrew Adams outside for us. He's got some speed. We got Nathan McBride. We've got some younger kids that are going to step in and play as well. But we feel like we got some talent there. I feel like this group's clicking best, more so than what we've had in the past this early. Last year we didn't get a summer, and that really hurt us. We were young, and we kind of started in July, and we just focused on conditioning and just getting in shape a little bit because the kids have been off for so many months. We hadn't seen them, and that kind of set us back just from the standpoint of knowing what we're doing, working as a unit, and that kind of thing. But this summer it's really worked well. We took our kids up to Camp Atterbury, did a team building thing. I think that really helped us.
Yeah,
it's a long, hard day, and the kids, not doing something wasn't an option. They had to figure it out and help each other, and I think that really helped us. Bond as a team, and it's a fun group to be with at practice. Our younger kids push our older kids, and we haven't been able to always say that in practice. It's always been too easy for our starters, and this isn't the case now. And they get pushed, and that's been really helpful. Defensively, we're going to play a lot of the same kids. We're going to play a lot of kids both ways. We got that. Like I said, we don't have a ton of juniors and seniors, but I think we got 14, and you'll see a lot of those kids out on the field on both sides of the ball. Another senior, Elijah Hammond's a kid that played defensive end and tight end. Caleb Keen's a sophomore, big kid, defensive end that's athletic, that's really come on for us. He was a starter last year until he got hurt. So we've got a lot of pieces there we feel like are, we got experience, and they've kind of been through the gauntlet of the Mid-Southern Conference the last couple of years. And, I feel like now their bodies are ready and mentally they're ready, and we're excited to see how well we can do.
Well, good. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that friendly competition.
Yeah.
Luke, I thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. Thanks
and,
for having me.
We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to bring up Roger Pennington. He's the assistant coach for Salem. He's the head varsity coach.
JV.
Head JV coach and special teams coach. Roger, welcome.
Thanks
for being here tonight, and bear with me. So, how's the team looking?
We're looking good. We're healthy going into week 1, which is always a blessing for us. We've got a
one kid that got injured in our scrimmage against Madison the other night, broke his forearm. Matthew Strange, he was a starting offensive tackle. He's a junior, so he's going to miss the rest of the season. He had surgery. Surgery went well, so he's going to miss this season, but he'll come back next year, I'm sure, and be ready to go for his senior year.
Good deal. Does losing Strange change the dynamic of the line?
No, we've got we are pretty deep at just about every position. Depth is one of our strengths. We've got some juniors and some sophomores that are pushing for playing time, so we have somebody to step in and fill his shoes.
Yeah, we had talked a little bit beforehand, maybe bringing that Dalton kid up.
He's looked really good for his age. He has some things that you just don't see a lot of freshmen have.
Yeah.
And really good attitude. He's a hard worker. He's picked up on things really well. So we're looking for big things from him this year.
Yeah, a couple years ago we hosted a wrestling camp here in town, and he was there, and he was really impressive then. He would have been, a 7th or 8th grader at the time, and he was tough back then. So I can just imagine how much he's come up since then.
Yeah, I was talking to Coach Thompson. I'm hoping we can have him a little bit on the JV. He's going to get some quarters in the varsity for sure.
Yeah, me and Ryan interviewed Coach Thompson after the scrimmage, and he said it's going to be really hard to keep him off the field.
It is.
And, I know his playing time and his quarters are going to kind of mess with, how much he gets to play JV. So it's one of those things that you got to kind of use sparingly if you can.
Right.
What changes have been made with the staff this season?
We pretty much have the same staff as we had last year. Seth Hobson's come on. He's the offensive coordinator for the JV, and he's helping Coach Thompson with the offense on the varsity. Seth was a 4-year player here at Salem, one of the best quarterbacks probably that's came through the system.
Yep, absolutely.
Went and played college football. Now he's come back home. We're excited to have him on the staff. I actually coached him in middle school. He's really the main addition to our staff this year. All of the other coaches are still in place from last year.
Yeah, he went out and played tight end for Indiana
He
Wesleyan
did.
for a little
He
while.
did.
Right?
He was a quarterback here, and then he went to college, and they decided to move him out to tight end and got in the weight room and put on 25 pounds and played some tight end.
Yeah. Seth's a really good guy.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you, ask Coach Thompson about the youth league, but he's not going to be here tonight. So, what's the future look like for the Lion Pride?
We are so happy with the community, the response we've had with, from the community. Coach Thompson's come in. This is his second year as head coach, and we've really focused on changing the culture of our program. A lot of input, a lot of excitement within the community. We're just trying to change the whole, mentality and the whole outlook of Salem football. And I think we're definitely heading in the right direction. Numbers are really good at the high school level. I think we have 14 or 15 freshmen. I know the youth league numbers are looking good.
Yep.
And I know we've got some kids down there that are playing really well. Our kids got out and, did some community projects through the summer. So we are focusing on not only just football, but, working on making them better people too. And we've had really good senior leadership this year out of some of our seniors. Our staff works really well together. It's just a really enjoyable process to be a part of, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity of this is my second year back, and we're looking for big things this year. Coaches set the bar pretty high. We want to move the ball forward, and last year was a really good season for us. We advanced to the sectional final, finished second in the conference after an 0-2 start.
Right.
We ran off 7 in a row, and that's something that Coach really talks about, is that maybe sometimes in the past, teams that started 0-2 might not have that same reaction.
Right.
And it was due to some good seniors last year, and we've got really good seniors this year that have really stepped up and shown a lot of leadership to our younger kids.
Yeah. And that Southport game last season, that was a real surprise. Those kids, whenever we went and were in the stands, I was out watching them warm up, and I was like, when are they going to bring their linemen out?
Yeah, they were super, and that's one of the strengths of our team. Our overall speed is one of our strengths. We have speed at every position. I know that, for our defense is based upon speed at every single position. Even the down linemen, we try to play fast. We play downhill, and some of the coaching things that Coach put in last year was really focused on making our team speed better, and it really paid off last year. And we've just piggybacked that this year, and we've got a lot of speed at the middle school level. We've got speed coming up in the youth league, so that's one thing that we really focus on our defense. And I think that our defense is going to be one of our strengths of our team this year. I think we have 8 of 11 back. Even the new starters played varsity quarters last year. quarterback position. We have a new starting quarterback this year, so Caleb's progressed really well. He had a really good scrimmage at Madison. Showed a lot of poise in the pocket, hung in there, made some really tough throws, and so I think it was good to have the scrimmage first. Before our first game this coming Friday night, it was good for Tucker to kind of get in the flow of things, and he got a lot of confidence in that game. The line did a great job giving him time to throw the football.
Yeah, Tuck's a very smart kid. And he's good on the read. And the size that he's picking up and the confidence that he's gaining, he's going to be something special.
Yeah, and we've got two of the best running backs in the conference behind him, Porter Howie and Danny Bowling.
Yep.
We're looking for those guys to have a big year. Those guys play on our defense as well. But I think running the ball is going to be one of our strengths as well. Team speed, and then our special teams. We do focus a lot on special teams. We spend an enormous amount of time on those. Take a lot of pride in that. Last year, we put a lot of time and effort into special teams, and definitely paid off in some close games last year. That can make the difference. So, Coach is good about preaching that. There's not an aspect of the game that we don't put time into. Our staff works a lot of hours putting our practice plans together. Game planning for Friday nights. So yeah, we're looking forward to getting started Friday night.
Yeah, one thing I've always prided Blair with, and I think I told him this last time we interviewed, is that he knows when to coach the kids, but he also knows when to love the kids, and that makes a big difference in retaining kids from year to year.
Yeah, coach is definitely a player's coach. The kids react well with him. He has a lot of emotion that he brings, and he knows when to flip the switch. He knows how to balance between being a friend and being a coach.
Right.
And I think some coaches kind of go off to one side of it. And Coach has a really good way of balancing that out. And his kids always play hard for him, and they always give 100%. And that means a lot to us. And we see that as a staff, and that rubs off on some of the younger kids. They see how hard these seniors work. Spend a lot of time in the weight room. We have a new certified strength and conditioning coach this year, the first actual certified coach that we've ever had, Zach George. And he's made a big difference in our kids as well. He's at every practice. He puts a lot of time in that he doesn't have to try to make our program better. We're extremely excited to have him. And then we have our certified trainer, Mallory Myers, and Mallory is just she's just a blessing to have. She's at every practice. She's at every game. She keeps our kids healthy. She's right on top of injuries. I know some of the kids don't like her because she maybe follows up more than they want.
Yep.
But it's really nice to know that as a coach, we don't have to worry about some of the smaller dings that you get throughout the year.
Right.
Mallory can take care of that for us and let us coach. So.
Nobody wants to get their helmet taken away during a game, but sometimes it's just the way it's got to be.
Yeah, Mallory knows how to work with the kids, and she's a little bulldog out there. She keeps them in line, and I think they figured out that if they listen to her and do what she says, they're going to be on the field a lot sooner.
Right. So, can we expect to see any backflips out of Coach Thompson this season?
I would really like to see that. I think we need to issue a challenge if we win the Mid-Southern Conference that he has to do.
He's got to do a backflip.
That would be special.
What should we expect Friday night?
We're going to go down to North Harrison. They're a big, strong team. They like to run the football. They want to turn it into a grind-out game. They want long drives. They don't want you to have a lot of possessions. They've got a big, strong line. They've got some backs that will run the ball hard. So we know it's going to be a dogfight down there. We lost in overtime last year with them the first game of the season. Come back and beat them in the second round of sectional. The first round of sectional. So we know it's going to be a challenge for us. Our kids are more than ready to play. We had 2 really good days of practice. We had a really good practice tonight, and I know that they're ready to go. We're going to see how strength versus speed turns out, and I really feel good about our chances going down there. I know we're going to play hard. The kids are going to give us 100%. We want to start off 1-0 in the conference. That's what our intentions are.
Good deal. I like the sound of that. So who's our standouts?
We have a lot of standouts. I don't really want to get into a whole lot of names. We've got a really good senior class. I think every one of our seniors starts either on offense or defense. Porter Howie probably calls our defense. He's our, kind of our defensive captain.
Caden Cologne's the other linebacker. He's just an outstanding talent. We've got 2 really solid, inside linebackers.
Yep.
Carson Cook is our nose. He started there last year. He's a really solid player there. Our secondary, Mason Gilstrap's one of our safeties. Mason is a really strong physical kid. He's not real big, but he loves contact. He loves to play the run. Sometimes we have to almost hold him back a little bit because he's got too much of that go fever.
Little story about Mason Gilstrap. I coached him his first year in youth league, and he was tiny, just a real timid kid, and we played him at safety. And he wasn't a physical kid at the time. And one day at practice, he just a switch flipped in him, and he was just the meanest kid you ever seen. And he's been a solid physical kid ever since then.
Yes. We lost 3 seniors from our offensive line last year, and I think a lot of people think that might be a weakness of our team, but I really think that might end up being one of our strengths. Grayson Hunt is back on the offensive line. He was a starter last year. He's our center.
You got Jimmy Gibson.
Jimmy Gibson's back. He's playing a tackle guard. And then we've got some of these defensive kids that we've moved over and put them on the offensive line, and they've just excelled at that. We're going to have more speed up front this year, maybe not the size we had last year, but we've got some 220, 225-pound kids playing guard that can get out and move on the edge if we have to.
Right.
So I think our offensive line is going to come around and be one of the strengths of our team, really.
Good. I think that's all the questions I had planned out tonight. But what do you see is our strengths versus our weaknesses?
Well, I think our strength would obviously be our speed and probably our defense, which we talked about. I don't know that we really have any weaknesses. I think we have some areas that we need to obviously work on. We have a new starting quarterback, so that's something that I'm sure teams are going to try to focus on. Is that we have a kid that's never started the varsity game playing at quarterback, but Tucker's going to be ready for the challenge. He's gradually gotten better throughout the summer. He had a really good summer camp. Last Friday night was really important for him to get some confidence. We've got a lot of speed on the outside. Smedley, one of the receivers, one of the fastest kids in the conference. We want to try to get the ball in his hands if we can and get him in space because he's got so much speed. So I don't really think that we have any weaknesses. We have some areas that we'd like to improve on, but just really ready to get it going and strap it up Friday night and be ready to play North Harrison down at their place.
All right. Well, that's what I like to hear. Thank you, Roger.
All right. Thank you.
You have a good night.
Okay.
Next up is going to be Jeremy Lowery from West Washington. I want to go ahead and mention our sponsors because I forgot to at the beginning. Our sponsors tonight are Eddie Gilstrap Motors, McDonald's of Salem, Meadowview Nursing Home, Salem Crossing, the City of Salem, Rodney Brook Insurance, Baptist Floyd, GKN, First Harrison Bank, John Jones GM City. They're the post-game show sponsors this year. And Farm Bureau Insurance with Jason Petmont. We'll get Coach Lowery over here in just a second. And here he comes. Coach, good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I got you. I got to flip another page there.
You're a busy man.
Yeah, well, I'm a nervous man. All right, so how's it feel to be back in Washington County?
Well, I was kind of sitting here, taking it all in, sitting here at McDonald's, and very familiar with this place, of course. Getting to talk to some old friends, and it's great. It's great to be home, and, it's our travel north was a great experience for us, and we loved it up there at LaPorte, and they were incredible to us. But when this opportunity came available to come back home, after a brief discussion with my wife and kids, we all decided that this was the thing to do, and just super excited to be back home, closer to family and friends, and very excited to be a part of West Washington and the West Washington football program, and just think it's just going to be a really, really great fit for us.
Good. Yeah, after the tragic loss of Philip Bousman last year, we wondered, how we were ever going to fill those shoes. Philip's been a coach and involved with our youth league and everything for years, and I think we made the right step, bringing you back in. And now you're not from Washington County, but you coached, assistant coached Salem for 10 years, right?
Yeah, I was at Salem for 10 years under
And-
Coach Motsinger. I was his offensive coordinator for 10 years. And then I was at Paoli for 10 years.
Yeah.
And my last 2 years at Paoli in 2017 and 18, I was the head coach there.
Right. And you were there whenever they made their semi-state run, right?
I was there when we made our semi-state run in 2013.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You played for Western Kentucky?
Played for Western Kentucky for Coach Harbaugh.
Yep.
Was recruited by Doug Mallory. Great experience there. And played high school ball for Chris Giesman at Penn High School.
Okay. So what's the plan for the rebuild?
Well, it all starts with your staff.
Right.
So you got to put a great staff together. I don't think a lot of people don't realize how much work your staff does
Right.
and how important it is to get the right people there that you trust. So obviously that was step one. I feel like we hit it out of the ballpark there. Very impressed with our staff. Was able to bring the majority of the staff back. And then we added Lee Robleski. Lee's my nephew. He played for me at Paoli. He also coached for me at Paoli that 2013 year.
Okay.
And then he spent the last 2 years coaching at Hanover College and Kentucky Wesleyan. So he brings a lot of youth and energy, and we're really excited about him to add him to an already great staff with a ton of experience. We've got Keith Nance, been there 20 plus years. Dwayne Nance, 15 plus years. Coach Gibson's been there 29 years. The Burks brothers, you got Patrick's been there about going on 10, and Andrew's been there close to 15.
Yeah, got a lot of tradition, a lot of history.
Yeah. Logan Walker coaches our receivers out there. I coached Logan at Salem. Logan was also on my staff at Paoli. So, very comfortable with him. I've worked with him.
There.
Absolutely. And then we were also able to add Matt Deaton.
Okay.
And I can't say enough about Matt, for one, great West Washington football player. I think, you look up West Washington in the dictionary and there's a picture of Matt Deaton.
There
I mean,
you
he's
go.
kind of, he bleeds red, white, and blue, brings a ton of energy and just high quality, high character individual. Tickled to have him on staff. And I think when you put that all together, you get a really good foundation to start building around. And just really pleased with how that worked out.
Very good. So how's the guys look? How's the team look?
The team looks good. Team's very excited. It was a full summer slate. I think a lot of people are experiencing that off of, a year ago, a COVID year where basically we rolled out in late July. You got ready to play games and you dealt with a tough situation. For the most part, this summer has been back to a typical summer. Right. So we were a 4-day-a-week work week team filled with practices, competition days, team building days. So it's been a full slate for our kids. We thought it was really important to utilize all the competition days because, I had to get familiar with the kids and they had to get familiar with us. Obviously, we graduated a lot of really good players last year. So there was a lot of evaluating that needed to be done. So out of the 5 competition days, we used all 4 of them, or 4 out of the 5.
Right.
Went against really good competition, either schools with a lot of tradition that have had success or schools just a lot larger than us. Because like we told our kids, we want iron to sharpen iron. We didn't want to go out and just compete against anybody. We wanted to get good looks so we could truly evaluate. So our kids are ready to play. We've had the competition days. You beat up on yourself for a while, and then you get to a point where it kind of gets into the grind. You start getting into August and it's stretching out. Now it's time to go play somebody.
Right. So is everybody healthy? Everybody looking good?
We are for the most part healthy. We lost a receiver in the inter-squad scrimmage a couple of weeks ago. We'll eventually get him back this year, but Hunter Thompson had some ligament damage to an ankle, and we're going to have to wait a couple of weeks before we get him. But other than him, we are healthy and we're ready to go.
I actually coached Hunter Thompson in youth league.
Great kid.
Good kid.
Great kid. And just really blossomed. I mean, he's got good height, good range, good speed. He's going to be a heck of a receiver for us. And we're going to miss him, but the good news is we're eventually going to get him back.
Right. So how has it been dealing with COVID?
Well,
I understand this year's probably a lot easier than it was last year.
yeah. So last year, we missed our scrimmage up at LaPorte, and
Right.
we were able to play every game after that. This year it's been a lot back to normal. I mean, there's still some protocols that obviously you carry over from a year ago, but for the most part, it's felt normal compared to a year ago.
Right.
I'm a little worried about the latest spikes and things going on right now. I don't like the timing of it. The timing kind of scares me. Actually, a little bit worse than last year, because last year, we had the spike in the late spring, and then we went to the summer. We're kind of shut down through the summer, kind of got a grip on it. We're able to get the season in.
Right.
I think we got to be really cautious, in the next 3-4 weeks and try to get through maybe a little spike that's going on right now.
Good deal. So what can we expect against the Eastern this Friday?
We're just excited to be out playing football, and really excited about our kids. Our kids are pumped up, ready to go play. I think we got a little bit of chip on our shoulder. I think there's been a lot of talk that this could be a rebuilding year for West Washington, and we don't see it that way at all. We see it as a reloading year. Yes, we moved on some fantastic players that have accomplished some great things at West Washington, but the cupboard's not bare.
Right.
We've got some really good players coming back and some really experienced, skilled players coming back, and we're just anxious to see it all come together in a real live game situation.
Right.
You can get little bits and pieces of the simulation and this other stuff we've done, but it's not the real deal until you kick off on Friday night.
Right.
That first week of the season.
So who are some of your standouts? Who should we be watching for on Friday nights?
Well, I'm one of those guys. I don't like to throw a lot of that stuff out there, because we've really kept competition alive in our team.
Right.
And there's still, we'll be evaluating the next couple of weeks. There's still position battles out there, but there's some obvious kids that are coming back. Roper McFeeters
Right.
is a incredible football player, and he's come back from his injury with no setbacks and looks really good. So we're really excited about him. We're really excited about our front five up front. Obviously graduated 5 really good offensive linemen a year ago, but we're really pleased with how those guys are coming along up front and how they're starting to mesh together. And really, that's really kind of started taking shape the last 3 weeks. Because when you graduate all 5 up front,
Right.
there's a lot of continuity, there's a lot of timing, there's a lot of things that got to be worked out there, but really pleased. And we've got some kids that have been in the program a while, with a Caden Van Cleve and a Cam Van Cleve. Those guys are playing up front, and a Clayton Holloway and a Kai Struther. And those guys, they've played behind some really good players for a couple of years, and it's really encouraging for those kids, because now it's their time.
Right. It's go time.
Yeah,
You got to show what you've learned in the last few years.
absolutely. We got some other runners, skill players, really excited about, McCoy. Grayson had a great year last year, got a lot of playing time on a really good football team, does some really special things with the ball in his hand. Braxton Sprouse started at corner on that team last year. He's really stepped up his role offensively, kind of developed into a lot more developed offensive player than what we initially thought going into it. Has really shown some great things this summer. Ethan Roberts, who really filled the role after McFeeters went down a year ago, a bigger back, pound it between the tackles type of guy. And then defensively, just speed. We can run.
Right.
Always helps when you can run.
Yeah. With the lost my train of thought. Sorry. With the kids that you have and all the returning kids, do you have that wholesome family feel that's usually necessary with a team? Is everybody, like you said, I think the word you used was continuity. Is everybody on the same page?
Well, when you come in, that's, you got to put the staff together, and then you got to start building your culture.
Right.
And, you got to preach the things that are really important to you. and our kids are buying in,
Right.
you know, and that's a process. Whenever you start a new place, that's certainly a process. And I'll tell you, I mean, we've had some bumps in the roads. We've had some highs. We've had some lows, you know. We've done some different things to take them out of their comfort zone. We went to Camp Atterbury for a day and hung out with the National Guard,
Yeah.
and they put us through the ringer. And now it's fun because you kind of close, you know, we talk a lot about making some sacrifices now so we can have some enjoyment later.
Yeah.
Well, now we're starting to turn to that new chapter where you can start seeing some of that enjoyment coming.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about.
It's good that you guys went up there and did that with that team building demonstration. My son joined the National Guard this summer.
Awesome.
And, you know, he's going back and forth to Atterbury, you know, every now and then. And they're doing good things up there. And for them to invite you guys up there, that seems like something special. The National Guard's been sponsoring the games here and there around the southern Indiana. And it really shows that, you know, they're giving back to the community. And I really appreciate them doing that and
Absolutely.
taking our kids and showing them that, you know, there's choices, you know, there's
Sure.
things that can be done afterwards.
Absolutely.
So,
You know, and along the way, they bring you together.
Right.
And sometimes when you're doing them, it's not fun.
right.
But that's part of the process. And that's the biggest thing. You know, our kids know we got enough guys back on the staff that they're familiar with, and they're starting to, you know, not starting. They understand that we have their best interest in mind.
Right.
You know, we love our kids and we're going to take care of our kids. And that it's fun watching the relationships build and watching it all come together. We have some extremely enjoyable kids.
Yeah.
I love going to practice every day. They're fun to be around. They've really loosened up the last several weeks, starting to get to know all their individual personalities. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. You know, and that's really important from a parent standpoint too. You know, my son's a senior this year and he played all the way up to his junior year. Being able to see that coach, you know, trusting that coach with your child, you know, is a big thing, you know, from a parent standpoint, and knowing that you're not going to be reckless with with their child, and you know, you guys are going to take good care of them. And if my kid has a problem that he, you know, maybe he doesn't want to talk to mom and dad about, it's good to know that he can come to that coach and, you know, putting off that family vibe. And that's kind of what I was getting at with this
Absolutely.
question.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
You know, honestly, I think that's all I've got for you tonight. I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you do out there.
Yes, sir. It's going to be exciting.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Be sure to set your dials to WSLM 97 FM and 1220 AM next week for Coach's Corner live from the Salem McDonald's to get a front row seat into the high school sports with your coaches from Eastern, Salem, and West Washington. I'm Nate Pierce, and I'll see you on the radio on Friday nights with Ryan Larimore. And I'm looking forward to a great season, and hopefully this goes a little smoother next time. Hopefully I didn't botch this too bad, and I'm looking forward to trying to get the information out there for you guys. Thanks, and have a good night.